everyone. Today we will continue with the lecture series of transformers. In the previous lecture, I started with the characteristics of ideal transformer. I told you about transformer with finite permeability core. Next we saw transformer with finite core losses. In that we saw magnetizing current, and today we will see what is core loss component. We saw in the previous lectures. You can refer to that so that you will better understand today's lecture. Today we will see core loss component. IC. This is also known as wattful component or the working component of the current, denoted as IC or IW. Now, it is the component of the current drawn by the primary winding of the transformer to produce rated power loss within transformer core. It is purely active component of the current. Its magnitude is 1 to 2% of the rated current. 1 to 2% of I rated. This current can be represented using a lumped resistance across the primary winding of the transformer in this way. This is RC, also written as RI or R0. These are different notations. This is IW, this is primary voltage V1. RC is written as V1 upon I mu. Iron loss is given as IW square RC, which is also written as V1 square upon RC or V1 into IW or V1 I0 cos phi naught. As we know, since magnetizing current is much greater than this core loss component, hence RC is always greater than Xm. Now, let us see what is the equivalent circuit of the transformer under no load. We know this is primary side of the transformer. This is secondary side of the transformer. This is under no load. Therefore, I2 is 0. This is induced EMF E2. Turns ratio N1 is to N2. Here we are having no load branch. This is RC, Xm, no load current I0, and the same is drawn from the supply V1. This is known as no load equivalent circuit of the transformer. Next, let us see the transformer under loaded condition. Under no load condition, the circuit what I drew for you is, this is supply voltage V1. Current drawn is no load current. It will set up a flux called as main flux in the core, and here secondary side was open. This is under no load condition. Now, when the transformer is loaded, what happens? This is supply voltage V1. Here we are having induced EMF E1. It will draw no load current. It will set up main flux in the core in this direction. Now, as you load the secondary, what happens? The secondary current will start to flow. This is secondary load. Current will be this way. According to this, it will produce a secondary flux. So, this main flux will start reduce. Hence, to maintain the main flux to its rated value, primary will draw an additional current. That will set up an additional flux phi1 dash such that phi1 dash magnitude should be equal to phi2 dash. That is, Phi1 is just the flux that is required to compensate the secondary flux in order to bring back the main field flux to its rated value. From this we can write N1 I1 dash upon reluctance is equal to N2 I2 upon reluctance. This can be written as N1 I1 dash is equal to N2 I2. This is MMF balance equation. So, under no load condition, primary winding draws a finite magnitude of current I0 and produces a rated flux in the transformer core known as main flux. Magnitude of this flux should be such that primary induced EMF will balance supply voltage value. Now, when the load is connected on the secondary winding, a mutual EMF will generate a current to the load so that an MMF will be developed by the secondary winding called N2I2. According to Lenz's law, flux produced due to this MMF will oppose the change in the main flux so that induced EMF across primary winding reduces. Due to this, a potential difference is created between V1 and E1. This will produce an additional circulating current I1 dash. The MMF produced by this current, that is N1 I1 dash, will neutralize the secondary winding MMF so that the resultant flux in the transformer core remains constant. From this analysis, resultant flux in the transformer core remains constant from no load to full load. So, transformer can be treated as a constant flux device. Now, let me show you the phasor diagram of the transformer under loaded condition. This is main field flux. This is secondary EMF opposing supply voltage V1. Initially we were having magnetizing current, core component together forming no load current. This was no load power factor. Now, when the load is connected, secondary current I2 starts flowing, let the load be lagging power factor. Its component on the primary side I1 dash, which is K I2, together primary current is I1, power factor phi 1. As we can say, phi 1 is less than phi 0, hence load power factor is less than no load power factor. Next, let us see transformer with winding resistance. A practical transformer consists of finite winding resistance due to which core losses will be produced. To minimize these core losses, transformers must be wounded with low resistance conductors, example copper or aluminium. Majority of the transformers are designed with copper conductors. However, certain small rated distribution transformers are also designed using aluminium conductors in order to reduce the cost of the transformers because cost of aluminium is less than copper. High voltage winding requires more number of turns using thin conductors because high voltage winding carries less current. So, resistance offered by high voltage winding is more, and low voltage winding requires less number of turns using a thick conductor since LV winding will carry higher current. So, LV winding will offer less resistance. So, always resistance of HV winding is greater than LV winding. Now, what are the disadvantages that can be observed due to resistance of the transformer windings? What are those? First is copper losses and the second voltage drop. Now, when the equivalent circuit parameters are distributed on both primary and the secondary sides, transformer becomes two isolated electrical circuit. Now, when equivalent circuit parameters are distributed on both primary and the secondary side, then transformer becomes two isolated electrical circuit. Due to this, mathematical analysis of transformer becomes very difficult. So, to convert transformer into a single equivalent circuit parameters should be transformed either from primary to secondary or secondary to primary. To transfer winding resistance from primary to secondary or secondary to primary, the copper loss magnitude produced must remain constant. So we say, suppose we are having equivalent circuit in this way. R2 and this is R1. Okay. Now primary copper loss. What is primary copper loss? I1 square R1. And if we refer this resistance on this side, R1 dash, therefore primary copper loss referred to secondary, what will be there? I2 square R1 dash. This is I2 current flowing here. This is I1. Now we know both must be equal. Hence from this we can get R1 dash is equal to I1 by I2 whole square R1. In terms of turns ratio, we can write R1 dash is equal to N2 by N1 whole square R1. Here R1 is the primary winding resistance referred to primary. R1 dash is the primary winding resistance referred to the secondary. Hence, what we can say that total secondary resistance is given as R02 is equal to R2 plus R1 dash. Hence, total copper loss on the secondary side is I2 R02. I2 square R02. Similarly, if the secondary resistance is transferred to the primary, suppose we are having this circuit. This is R2. This is I2. This is I1. Suppose this R2 is transferred here as R2 dash. What is R2? Secondary winding resistance referred to secondary, and R2 dash is the secondary winding resistance referred to the primary. Now secondary copper loss was I2 square R2, and when it is referred on primary, then secondary copper loss referred to primary is I1 square R2 dash. As we know, copper loss will remain same, hence both should be equal. From this we got R2 dash is equal to I2 by I1 whole square R2. R2 dash is equal to N1 by N2 whole square R2. Hence, total resistance referred on the primary side, what is this? R01. That is the total resistance referred to the primary. Hence, the total copper loss, what will be there? I1 square R01. Now, as we know the copper loss remains same, so we can write that I1 square R01 is equal to I2 square R02. Also we know transformer is a constant volt ampere device. Therefore, E1 I1 is equal to E2 I2. So, let me divide by this on both sides. From this we can write R01 upon E1 by I1 is equal to R02 upon E2 by I2. Therefore, R01 upon base value on the primary is equal to R02 upon base value on the secondary. Therefore, this is per unit resistance on the primary side is equal to per unit resistance on the secondary side. Hence, a transformer may have different ohmic resistances on primary and secondary. However, per unit resistance is same on both primary and the secondary. Next, let's see transformer with finite leakage flux. We know mutual flux in a transformer will link with both primary and the secondary, but leakage flux will link either primary winding or the secondary winding. Under no load condition, the current drawn by the primary winding will produce main field flux. The magnitude of main flux must induce an EMF which will balance supply voltage. Therefore, main field flux magnitude is proportional to the supply voltage. That is, main flux is proportional to the supply voltage magnitude. Now, when the load is connected to the secondary winding of the transformer, then an additional flux is produced along with the leakage flux. Under steady state condition, the mutual fluxes both produced by the load current components are neutralized. Under steady state condition, the mutual fluxes produced by the load current components are neutralized. However, leakage fluxes will remain in the transformer circuit. The magnitude of these leakage flux depends upon the load current and independent of the supply voltage. Hence, leakage flux is proportional to the load current. Under full load condition, both the transformer windings will experience flux linkage due to mutual and the leakage flux. As the core is offering more permeability, mutual flux magnitude will be 97 to 98% of the total flux. Leakage flux magnitude will be 2 to 3% of the total flux. The EMF induced due to leakage flux is separated as a lumped inductive resistance in series with both primary and the secondary, which is XL. The reactance offered by this lumped parameter is known as the leakage reactance. The voltage induced due to main field flux is represented by another lumped inductive parameters because these are statically induced EMF, and this lumped inductive parameter is known as the magnetizing reactance Xn. Now, to transfer primary leakage reactance to secondary or secondary leakage reactance to primary, per unit leakage reactance drop must be maintained. Now, if primary leakage reactance is transferred to secondary, then as I told that per unit voltage drop remains same. So, per unit voltage drop due to primary leakage reactance is I1 X1 upon E1, and per unit voltage drop of primary leakage reactance when referred to secondary is I2 X1 dash upon E2. X1 dash is the reactance referred on the secondary side. We know both are equal, therefore X1 dash is equal to E2 by E1 into I1 by I2 into X1, which is N2 by N1 whole square X1. Total equivalent leakage reactance referred to the secondary X02 is equal to X2 plus X1 dash, and total per unit leakage voltage drop referred to the secondary is I2 X02 upon E2. Similarly, if secondary leakage reactance is transferred to primary, then what happens? Per unit voltage drop due to secondary leakage reactance is I2 X2 upon E2, and per unit voltage drop of secondary leakage reactance referred to the primary is I1 X2 dash upon E2. So, this will be E1. As per unit drop remains same, therefore these both must be equal. Hence, in the same way, I can write N1 by N2 whole square X2. Therefore, total leakage reactance referred to primary is X1 plus X2 dash, and total per unit leakage drop referred to the primary is I1 X01 upon E1. Remember, actual leakage reactance referred to primary and secondary are not equal, but per unit leakage reactance referred to primary and the secondary are equal. That is, X per unit on the primary side is equal to X per unit on the secondary side. Now, what are the disadvantages that can be observed due to leakage flux? First is, voltage drop due to leakage reactance will increase the voltage regulation, and second, more flux leaking out of the core can reduce the power transfer capability of the transformer. Now let us see the complete equivalent circuit of the transformer. On the primary side, we are having no load branch, RC, XM. This is primary side, this is secondary side. Secondary side we are having resistance R2, JX2, load, this is I2. Here we are having I1 dash, this is I1, I0, IW, I mu. Here we are having R1 and JX1. Supply voltage V1. This is induced EMF E1, E2. Turns ratio N1:N2. From primary we can write V1 is equal to E1 plus I1 R1 plus J I1 X1, and from secondary we can write E2 is equal to V2 plus I2 R2 plus J I2 X2. Now in the next lecture we will see the approximations to simplify this equivalent circuit.
Thanks for watching. I hope this helped you. If you like the video, hit the like button, and for more such videos, please subscribe the channel. Thank you.